Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're taking a look at the Talisker Distillers Edition 2009 release, the 1998 vintage 11-year-old. Comes in at 45.8% ABV like all the Taliskers do. Dustin, we recently did a Talisker Distillers Edition, and we really enjoyed it.
Yes, we
quite
did.
a bit. And one of our subscribers actually sent you this bottle.
He reached out and said, hey, I'm sending you some samples. And I got the box and I went, this doesn't feel like samples.
It's a whole bottle.
There was a whole bottle in there.
You gave me a call, and you're like, a whole bottle?
I was like, yeah, man, I'm bringing it over. We're drinking.
Dustin got into it, as you can tell, pretty hard for the last couple of weeks. And I don't blame him.
It's such a drinkable whiskey, Mike.
For sure.
Like, it's one of those whiskeys that when you have it by itself, you pour 2.5 ounces because it's not super high ABV. Well, we talked about the last Distillers Edition. Let's get into this one, but, I mean, it's just, look at the color.
Look at that beautiful color. I believe, are these natural color? I don't know.
I don't think they are,
I don't think they are.
but from what I've seen from Diageo, my guess is these are probably fairly natural, but they probably are officially colored because they are pretty heavily, I mean, double matured in sherry casks here.
The old Lagavulin Distillers Edition used to have that on them.
God, this is the hardest to read label, by the way, I've ever seen, Mike. It's like this dark maroon with gold that's easy to read at the top. And then when you get down here, it turns to like a...
Yellow.
It's no longer shining. And it's just like, there's a horrible contrast.
TD-S5LX.
Yes, you can read the largest text on the bottom.
That's it. My eyesight's failing me. All right, Dustin, another Talisker. Recently found out from my back surgeon that his favorite distillery was Talisker. We had a nice long conversation about that. But I was telling him about these old Distillers Editions, and he's going to be on the lookout for them.
Smart man.
Ooh, sherry.
And spice, man.
Mm-hmm. Sherry, spice, smoke, pepper.
There's a little funk in here, man. Like,
yeah, we just had a hazelburn, which isn't easy to be funky after anything from the Springbank Distillery.
It's a whole different kind of funk. I mean, it's not Campbelltown funk.
No, but it's funky.
Oh man, there's like a burnt sienna or something.
I would say burnt piece of wood that washed up on shore like a wooden ship caught on fire, and then a couple days later, a piece of it washed up on shore. So you got some salt and with some wet wood that was recently burnt.
Well, and we've been talking about so far today. We haven't noticed any distinct notes of like salt and saline. This is salty.
Yeah, that's over.
Aged by the sea for sure.
Mm-hmm. There is something sail shipish that I'm getting here with this. Just salt water, barnacles, South Florida, twinge of shame.
It is salty like seawater with like pepper.
Mm-hmm. And not the traditional Talisker pepper, at least not on the nose. Maybe because it's just so heavily sherried. You know what I mean? It's covering it up.
No, this is without the crying and tears. What I remember from the one time I was involved in a pepper spray accident. There were two times, but this is the first time. I was at an Applebee's, and one of the girls sitting next to me somehow let it off in her purse. It cleared that restaurant out.
Oh, man. That's such a sweet sherry mixed with such a peppery funk.
There's even like a little bit of cayenne in there, man.
Stings the nostrils.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like initially up front, kind of like a soft, easy, relaxed, kind of just sweet note. Mm-hmm. And then it just builds and builds. And by the end, it's like it's getting like to its punchiest level where it's spicy. And
the aroma's so inviting. And as soon as it gets deep inside you, it just prickles. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just absolutely just barbs.
Exactly.
It just stabs you at your senses.
I got to say, Mike, right now, I don't know that I'm distinctly picking up anything that just jumps out from this versus I think there was a 2016 release we did last time. Mm-hmm. I got to say, though, man, wow, are these good?
Yeah.
Why did nobody tell me about these?
I remember drinking them back in the day. I mean, this was something like Lagavulin Distillers Edition. Like I went through it in my life and then I moved on. You know what I mean? It was just part of the whiskey journey. Yeah. But going back to it, man, just like Lagavulin Distillers Edition, these are, if you like sherry, these are punchy dreams.
I never see them on the shelves anymore. They're non-existent. So when I find them, they're always Dusties. And so I need to, I guess, go buy something from the UK and see if they're still as good. Because if they're still as good, guys, we need to be talking about these.
Yeah, these are good.
These are excellent. I mean, just on the nose here, I mean, this is great.
Yeah, what have these been, 10, 11-year-old whiskeys roughly? The last two we've done?
Yeah.
That is well done for young whiskey.
Yeah. God.
But again, the Talisker 10 is a solid offering.
It is, but this is...
That's probably what it is. It's probably Talisker 10 dumped in
an extra year of finishing, yeah.
In an Oloroso or PX sherry cask. Does it say if it's Oloroso or PX? Dustin, we'll get to that.
It's Amareo or something. Let me see here. It's
It's written down there?
It says it somewhere on here, I'm pretty sure.
Not that I could see it.
It's on the very bottom here. I will...
Oh, that is super small.
It's impossible to read that. But I'm pretty sure that's where it is. Basically, it's a sherry cask that is essentially PX and Oloroso together. If I'm remembering correctly. It's the same cask they use on the Lagavulin Distillers edition. Mm-hmm. They use it here as well. I can't remember. There's a few other whiskeys we reviewed that use it. But I'm pretty sure it's just like a hybrid kind of thing where it's like both. Somebody can double check me on that one, but I'm fairly certain I'm in the ballpark. I may have
just trying to confuse me.
Exactly.
I am the cork master.
Master of the cork.
55-45. Oh, love that sherry. All right, let's go in for a sip.
Oh, man, I just kind of like agitated it a little bit, and it got really peaty. Oh, my goodness. I went in for a taste, Mike, and I've already forgotten what I was going to say about it. But, I mean, again, it's nice peat, but it starts off up front just relaxing, easy drinking with nice sweetness and wine notes coming through. And then it just builds and builds and builds with the nice peat, wood spice. I will say the finish here is a little bit lacking. That's the only place I would probably fault this a slight bit.
Lovely sherry initially. Gentle, caressing, thick, viscous sherry. Then when it moves back, smoke. Talisker smoke. And then here at the long linger, the pepper comes in, but it is predominantly on the palate. Sherry, and then when you swallow, smoke. I don't get as much as like the seashore salt kind of elements on the palate as I did the nose. Pretty straightforward 3 elements on the palate. Those 3 elements are all things I like heavily.
On my second sip there, because I didn't get a good finish, the finish is better. Mm-hmm. And actually, I am now getting a little bit of that salt.
Are you?
Yeah, so it's on the finish a little bit. But, I mean, you're going to miss it if you're focused on the spice and the peat, because they're coming in really nice. But it's sort of like on the sides of my tongue, I can pick up that salient note.
Talisker has a great peat.
Man,
great
okay.
peat.
Yeah.
Especially Old Talisker. Old Talisker are done so well.
Just a killer bottle, man. Like, they just... God. And I think these today are maybe in that 150 range, Mike.
Worth it.
And that just seems like... When you look at some of the other stuff Diageo's selling, like... Man.
If nothing more than the sherry casks were better back then when they used them, 10 years ago.
That's my fear, is if you get the new ones, they won't have this quality of sherry. Because that's really what makes this such a great whiskey, is it's exceptional sherry.
I'll say something I've said in many whiskey reviews, Dustin. You take a good distillate like Talisker, and you give it a good cask, and you give it 10, 11 years. You don't have to give it long, 10, 12 years. You can have a good product. When you have a good base distillate like Talisker. Talisker is a really good distillate. Now, I would still like to see this distillery kick up the ABV and do a few more cask strength bottlings. And I heard the 30 year this year is back to 49 some change, so perhaps that's cask strength.
That's good.
It is. So perhaps that's cask strength, because the old cask strength ones used to be right around 50, 51. So Talisker, I would like a little more age from that distiller, but I'm really splitting hairs other than that.
Yeah, I wish those Diageo special releases would offer us this kind of finishing at around this age and cask strength. That would be an incredible bottle. And they really haven't done any heavy wine finishes in anything recent I can think of, at least. So that'd be a great one to see. Since they already do heavy wine finishing, why not let a few of those sneak out at cask strength? That'd be great. And then at least Diageo could justify the comically high prices they're asking now for their special releases, which are now being discounted everywhere in the UK.
Well, you don't know where the limit is until you hit it.
Yep, I think they did.
They did. Now it's becoming bubblegum sherry. Oh, so nice. Sugary. When I say bubblegum sherry, I'm talking about sherry with a nice sugar kick to it. But just light and airy, you know what I mean? But yet strong as far as the flavor profile.
I get that note. I'm now getting a much earthier middle to the whiskey.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's the peat's not as smoky. It's more earthy. It's rich, but it's still sooty earth. Like it's like a sooty earth. And then on the finish, I get a hint of almost like a vinegar. Like a red wine vinaigrette kind of a thing. Just a hint of it there on the finish. Really, really nice, complex. Again, it's just showing more depth and complexity the more we play with it.
Yeah, it's good whiskey. Very kind of that gentleman to send you that.
God, the front, I'm almost getting like a mixture of like You ever buy like the berry medley, like in the frozen stuff, where it's got like blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries?
Sure.
So if you get that and you blend up like a shake or something in that, it's almost giving me that like on the nose, like just sort of a.
You get a blackberry peat now. I used to grow blackberries in my backyard, and blackberries are really sweet.
Yeah.
Far sweeter than like raspberries or strawberries.
But like imagine you threw that in the blender and maybe you threw like a scoop of like Vanilla Whey or something in there. And you put some ice in there and you blended it up, like it's got a little of that. But and then like I don't know, maybe you put in like some peanut butter powder or something, you know, just to give it like some nuttiness, and that's kind of where like the salty in it. Maybe you put in some dash of sea salt in there just to give it that.
As a Talisker fan, it's so easy to just get swept away with good sherry cask maturation, just a base Talisker distillate here.
Yeah, no, I mean if you're a Talisker fan, this is porn. I mean it's just everything you want. And your Talisker, because they didn't, you know, the fear you always have when you go with heavy maturation. I mean, this isn't crazy dark by any means, but it's pretty dark. Mm-hmm. You always worry that, you know, the wine cask is going to overpower the lovely Talisker malt, and that didn't happen here at all. It just added another beautiful layer. It just enhanced and added, but it didn't. If it distracted at all, it was minimal.
Man, that's good. Oh, now at the end, again, now I'm getting the pepper and sea salt in the end. You're right. Now with water, it was more noticeable. I missed it at first, but it's there now.
Oh, there's a lot going on in that finish. Dare I say, I might even get like a note of watermelon here now.
You were saying a couple of red fruits. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm not saying you're wrong.
They're part of like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a effervescent like note. It's almost like. Like one of those flavor vapes kind of a thing, where it's like in the air above the peat and the smoke. It's
just a wisp.
Yeah.
All right, Dustin, whiskey score time. Your bottle, I'll go first. This is another very enjoyable bottle. I'm back and forth between two scores. We'll go with the higher of the two scores, 88 out of 100. Super enjoyable bottle. I'd be more than happy to pay $150 for this. I'm
going to go, I wish I could remember what I gave the last one just to be consistent here. But
so do I.
I'm giving it an 89, Mike. I think that's the right score. It's not as good as, like, you know, we just reviewed the Hazelburn 12. Mm-hmm. It's not as good a whiskey as that, but I was debating that one being a 90.
Right.
So this is a softer 89, but I think the 89 is still right. There's nothing wrong here. There's a couple things I really enjoy. Mm-hmm. Actually, there's a lot of things I really enjoy. I mean...
Or an ABV, I really can't ask for anything else.
Yeah, for what you're getting here, I mean, it's about as perfect as you can get. When you have the ABV and the age, like... Yeah, if we added more age, we could make it better, potentially. We also could ruin it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if we added more ABV, again, it could give it a more depth and intensity. It could allow us to play with it more. And again, water didn't do anything negative here. Just moved stuff around, let us notice some more depth. Good finish. The only thing I guess I would knock is the finish. It's very good. Mm-hmm. That's where it's got some room for improvement. It's a medium finish.
ABV?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, again, other whiskeys can do a better finish at the same ABV. This one's it's a little short.
I'm still looking for those red fruits. I think if you convince me there's raspberry or strawberries in the background somewhere.
I mean, it's got sherry in there, man.
Yep. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular Talisker Distillers Edition 11-year-old. I believe it's 11-year-old from 2009. 1998 distillate, so I guess it could be 10 years old depending on what the exact date.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, but we're just going to call it 11 years old. This is more mashed up years, and we'll go from there. Anyway, if you guys had a chance to try this one, I'd like to know what you guys think. A special thank you to our friend who sent us this. And Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy Dusty whiskey drinking.
See you then.